You've been told that no contact is the weak way out, that it's running away, avoiding confrontation, taking the easy path. But what if I told you that this couldn't be further from the truth? What if the very thing you've been calling weakness is actually the most powerful move you could make? Think about it. When someone hurts you, betrays your trust, or walks away from your relationship, every instinct in your body screams at you to fight back, to explain yourself, to make them understand, to chase after them with texts, calls, and desperate attempts to fix what's broken. That's what feels natural, isn't it? That's what feels strong. But here's what nobody tells you about that approach. When you chase, when you explain, when you beg for someone to see your worth, you're actually handing over all your power. You're saying that their opinion of you matters more than your own self-respect. You're teaching them that no matter how they treat you, you'll always come running back. And she knows this. Deep down, she knows that you're going to reach out. She's counting on it. She's expecting your message to pop up on her phone any day now. She's waiting for you to prove that you can't live without her, that you need her validation to feel whole. But what happens when that message never comes? What happens when the silence stretches on and you don't break? This is where the real power of no contact reveals itself, not in the initial decision to stop reaching out, but in what that silence creates in her mind. See, when you don't contact her, something fascinating happens in her psychology. The very foundation of her expectations crumbles. She was prepared for your anger, your pleading, your attempts to win her back. She had responses ready for all of that. She knew exactly how to handle the version of you that would come crawling back, but she has no script for your absence. In that silence, her mind starts working overtime. She begins to question everything. Did she mean less to you than she thought? Are you moving on already? Have you found someone else? The confidence she had in her decision starts to waver because the reaction she expected never came. You see, most people think that staying in contact keeps you in someone's thoughts, but the opposite is true. When you're constantly available, constantly responding, constantly there, you become predictable. You become background noise. She can dismiss you because she knows exactly where you stand. But when you disappear, when you become genuinely unavailable, that's when you become impossible to ignore. This isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate someone into wanting you back. This is about something much deeper. This is about reclaiming your own sense of self-worth and refusing to participate in a dynamic that diminishes you. When you go no contact, you're making a statement. You're saying that you value yourself enough to walk away from someone who doesn't see your worth. You're declaring that you won't beg for scraps of attention from someone who should be grateful to have you in their life. And that statement echoes louder than any words you could ever speak. Think about the relationships in your life where someone has always been available to you. The friend who always answers your calls, the person who always responds to your messages immediately, the one who drops everything when you need them. How much do you think about those people when they're not around? Now think about someone who's harder to reach, someone whose attention feels scarce, whose time feels valuable, someone who doesn't always respond right away, who has their own life and priorities. How much mental space do they occupy? This is the psychology of scarcity at work. We value what we can't easily have. We think about what we can't easily access. And when you remove yourself from her easy access, you automatically increase your value in her mind. But here's what makes this even more powerful. While she's thinking about you, wondering about you, maybe even missing you, you're doing something incredible. You're healing. You're growing. You're becoming the person you were meant to be without the weight of a relationship that was draining your energy. You're discovering who you are when you're not constantly trying to prove your worth to someone else. You're rebuilding your confidence, your independence, your sense of self. You're creating a life that's so fulfilling that whether she comes back or not becomes irrelevant. And that transformation, that's what hits her the hardest, because eventually she will hear about you. She'll see your social media posts, hear from mutual friends, or catch glimpses of the person you're becoming. And what she'll see won't be the broken, desperate person she expected to find. She'll see someone who's thriving, someone who's moved on, someone who's become more attractive, more confident, more whole. She'll realize that while she was expecting you to fall apart without her, you actually fell together. The weak move would have been to chase her, to try to convince her of your value with words and gestures and desperate attempts at connection. The weak move would have been to make her the center of your universe while you became a footnote in hers. But you chose strength, you chose silence, you chose yourself, and now she has to live with the consequences of losing someone who was strong enough to walk away. She has to face the reality that she let go of someone who valued themselves too much to fight for someone who didn't fight for them. This is the real power of no contact. It's not about getting her back. though that might happen. It's not about making her jealous, though she might be. It's about refusing to participate in your own diminishment. It's about choosing your own peace over the chaos of trying to fix something that was already broken. So when people tell you that no contact is weak, remember this. The weak move is staying where you're not valued, fighting for someone who won't fight for you, and sacrificing your own well-being for the slim possibility that someone might change their mind about you. The strong move is walking away with your dignity intact, building a life you love, and becoming someone who would never accept less than they deserve. That's what hits her the hardest. Not your anger, not your pain, not your desperate attempts to hold on, but your strength to let go, your courage to choose yourself, and your wisdom to know that you deserve better than someone who would walk away from you in the first place. The silence you're maintaining isn't empty. It's full of self-respect, full of growth, full of the promise of something better ahead. And that fullness will always be more powerful than any words you could ever say to someone who's already decided they don't want to hear them.